So one of my gripes about this machine is I ordered the 8-color version, which means you get stock machine and you get 2 of the Ace Pro units. One here, one's in the box over there. And the reason I haven't set it up is when you get your machine, it's got a single filament feeder in the top. And then each of the Ace Pros, because they're 4-color units, has a 4-color feeder in the box with them, plus parts for converting it to color printing, which is basically the filament cutter and this little what you call it, little ejector, and then when you fit them it'll do 4 colors. Remember, I ordered 8 colors. I got 2 of them, but they don't give you the 8-color hub. You've only got 2 of the 4 hubs, and you can only put 1 in at a time, so you can only do 4 colors with what they send you, which is stupid. So anyway, if you go to Maker Online, which is where they have, let's down a bit, here we go, where they have lots of free stuff to download. Like here's the poop bin that I downloaded and printed. You can put in here 9 filament hub, and hopefully somewhere around here you'll see some various options for downloading and using 9 filaments with your Kobra 3 Max. So I went in there and I've downloaded one. In fact, it looks remarkably like this one, and it's got all the parts. It's several parts to it, and the collets and the little clips. So got all the files together, sliced them, and I've got my resin printer, my Saturn 4, making the parts, and I'll take you through and show you them in a bit. Did it in resin just because it comes out looking injection molded. It looks professional, it's smooth, because all it really is a empty case, and then as the filament feeds into these holes, it hits the slanted curved sides, which forces it through a single ejection nozzle, which then goes into the print head and comes out. So it really isn't anything in here apart from, you know, a hollow tube to guide the filaments through. So yeah, it's quite easy, but annoying it doesn't come with it, because you shouldn't have to spend $1,000 on a machine and then go and DIY print parts to get it to work. Now I've got a ticket open with Anycubic asking them, where is this piece? Because there is a box coming from China which is supposed to be the camera for those of us who pre-ordered it. But I also want to know, you know, is there one of these 8 filament hubs perhaps in that box with the camera? You know, which would be fine, because it's just taken a few extra days to get here. But either way, a bit frustrating because I could only hook up 4 colors to start with. It would have been nice to get all 8 up and running, but hey, I'm patient. I'm just printing in 1 color at the moment, so it's not exactly great shakes. But anyway, that's what I had to do. So let me go and take you to the gym and show you what's been printing on the Saturn. Okay, so this is how I'm making that 9 filament hub for the Kobra 3 Max. So I downloaded the files. Here's the actual bottom part of the hub. So that's what will replace the 4 hub part, and there's the screw holes. They'll go in, so it will hold it in place upright like that in the printhead. This bit is where the tubes will all slide in, and as you can see, 9 holes, so you can take 4 from each of the 2 Ace Pros and the single tube from the external single filament holder on the side. And this basically screws into that part, so those two will come together, form one unit. And as you can see from the inside of this, what happens is they pass through those holes, the filaments, they hit the sides, the smooth sides of this funnel effect, and protrude out of the single hole at the bottom, which then feeds into the print head, which then prints. So very simple mechanism, nothing magical inside. Also, as part of the STL file was this tube holder, so that you can keep them all together without them spreading out and getting in the way. So that was handy. And then this is a replacement part that goes on the X arm, the one that came with the Ace Pro has only got the 4 holes. As you can see, this has got room for the 9 holes, and then that'll clip into the arm and hold it in place. So everything you need is there. Now I haven't put them through the curing station yet because I'm still making bits. So just come off are the collets that so I've done 9 of those. I'm just letting it drip at the moment, and then I'll scrape them off after I put them through the washer, and each one of those will go into the top of that to help hold the tubes in place. And then I've got one more bit to print, which is 9 of the small clips that will go in there to stop the tubes backing out. So just got to wash that lot off. Pick it up, it should have dripped enough now. Put that into the wash station. Let's give it 15 minutes to clean itself up. Hit print, sorry, hit wash, and I'll let that get on with it. And then once I can get that off the tray, I'll print those clips, and then I can put all the pieces at once onto the curing station. It should be done. I've finished the printing of the parts for the 8-color filament hub, so you can see the collets, the clips, another clip to hold the tubes, the adapter that goes onto the X arm where the Bowden tubes go through, hold them steady, and of course the 2 parts to the actual hub itself. So I'm just going to grab this and put it over the pieces. Alright, now I can cure this. Set it for a good 30 minutes and set it off and harden those bits up, and then see if they'll install on the Kobra 3 Max. Come back and check in half an hour. Right, so here's all the parts to make up the 9-filament hub. So this just screws in on this, then together, and a disc glue, a bit of glue in there, put them together. The collets, well, they're supposed to just pop into these holes, and they do fit perfectly. all 9 of them. And then these clips should raise them slightly, which should then lock the tubes in place. And yep, they've got just enough bend in them that they'll go on. This will replace that bit when there's all the extra tubes for it to clip onto, so that'll be good. This bit will go on here, so I'm going to have to pull all these tubes and refeed them through these holes. I hope they're the right size. And that looks close. If that doesn't fit, I'll end up having to reprint it. And so when I've got everything together, I'll unscrew this, pop that in, tighten it back up, and I should have all 8 tubes available to print. So first thing I'm going to be doing is unscrewing this. Remember where I put my tool bag. Aha. I really would, I've said it before, but I really wish to have the tool drawer like that. But there we go, Anycubic, please, tool drawer, next version. That makes me wonder if there's space under there to print something that will just slide underneath, but alright. Don't lose the screws. Now to take these out, you should just have to press down and upset on all sides, and it should slide out. Good. It says come on. Wow, this thing is definitely designed to hold these in place once they're in. Because if you can't get them free, the only option you've got is don't use a pair of snippers, but you actually get a saw and cut evenly across these tubes. Because if you use a pair of snippers, you're going to end up pinching the tube, and then the filament coming through it is going to have a hard time. Oh well, while I fight with this, you don't need to watch it, but I'm gonna try and get those things free. Just to show you, in order to get these tubes out, man, they're held in tight by these things. So what I did, got a screwdriver, pushed in on the side pieces of this, and that popped them out. They were threaded through here, and then I could push down on these, and while I was pushing down, pull the tube out. But man, these things anchor in place good. Now I guess if you didn't want to print those collets, you could simply pop these things out of here and reuse them in this. It wouldn't make any difference, and I'll tell you one thing, these things certainly work. So anyway, something to bear in mind. So screwdriver, pop it on all four sides, that will come out, and then you can pull the tubes. Alright, I'm going to get back to trying to thread these now through the various processes. Yeah, they fit, so perfect. So I'm going to back everything out. Okay, so just an update on what I have to do. So fed the 4 tubes that were already being used back up through this, through that little clip, into here, and put the little clips in place there to hold them in the holes. I then took the single filament feeder that had the one head on it. Took that off, and I've run that from this end hole through to the center piece there, and that will be where you will take your single spool on the side and feed the filament that you're running off the side of the machine instead of through the Ace Pros, and feed that through and in and down, and allow it to use that. So anyway, so that's 4 plus 1, 5 connected. I've now got to go and take the other 4 tubes. And then run these for the last 4 holes and into the second Ace Pro into the back, and that should give me all 8 colours. I'll catch you in a moment. Right, everything assembled, so let's run you through it again. So here's the new print head hub. That's got the 9 holes in it, 2 pieces that I've glued together, though they do twist together, so there really wasn't much need to glue them. 9 collets popped in, 9 clips to hold the tubes. I reran the 4 that were in the old hub, fed them into this first, took that single tube that came with the stock machine, fed that one into the center, threaded all the tubes through this 9-piece holder. It keeps everything together nicely. There's the new piece on the X arm. That's got the 9 holes for all the tubes and the clip for the orange power cable. And there's the original 4 going off to the first Ace that I'd set up, and then these are the new ones that go into the back of the second Ace. That's the pass-through cable from the first Ace into the second one. And now, if everything works right, I should be able to load this up with some filament, switch these machines on, and see if it shows up with all the different colors. So let me go and load this thing up with some more filament. I've got some over there waiting to go in, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've powered up the two hubs, powered up the printer, and you can see here on the display, that's hub number 1, which was already set up with the reels. If I press hub number 2, right now it's showing all 4 bays are empty. So I'm going to take my snippers and start feeding these things in one at a time. Take out a bit of filament so it's all straight, cut it off, feed it into the holes. And I see it being dragged in. Just make sure that everything's on the rollers correctly and the spool is moving. So that's the first one, and it shows there's now something in there. Same orange filament. It's feeling good. Feel like it's feeding right. Shut that off again. That's better. Just sort of trim a bent bit off the edge. It's going good. And purple. With some Mardi Gras stuff. And in that goes. Okay, close them hubs up. Now I've just got to program them with the right filaments. So number 1 slot is green, so I'm going to click on that. The material PLA is correct. Color, light green. Okay, looks good. Save that. Number 2, PLA again. This is orange. There we go. Save that. Number 3 was the yellow. Okay. Save that. And finally number 4 was the purple. What's the best purple? That one. Okay. So there we go. We're set up. So, all the different colors. Both Ace Pros. Now I'm going to set it up to do a multicolor print. So I'll get back to you and we'll see if the test print works on this thing. does its job. Right, so built into the printer there's some prints loaded, some test prints, and one is a 4-color test print right here, so that's the one I'm going to go for, and try and select some of the colors from the different aces. It looks like it wanted a light blue, a white, a dark blue, and an orange, so I might have to substitute one of the colors, but either way, set it up to do some leveling. I'm going to hit print. Okay, so now it's asking to match the colors. So the first one, that light blue, there's nothing similar to it in there, so it's asking for something else. So I'm going to substitute it for the green. Then it's got white, it's got blue, and then it's got red, but I'm going to take the red and substitute that for orange. So there's 2 coming from each of the Ace Pros. I'm going to hit print. So that's going to go and heat up and level the bed and start printing. So we'll come back to it and see how it's getting on. Right, print started. Just see the green running into the hub. Please work. And there is green filament coming out. And it's purging the prior blue filament, so that worked. Let's see it shoot that off in a second. There we go. Whoa. Purging a bit more. Really does seem an excessive amount. Must be a way to cut back on that, because that does seem overkill. Oop. Okay. Right, get that first layer down and we'll see what happens. Okay, 11 layers down, which means 11 complete sets of color changes, and it's working, but I had to add some extra clips to hold all the tubes in place, mainly because the green tube kept coming out of the holder. That's probably the quality of the printed collets, and probably they're too smooth and it was having trouble staying in that hole. Might have been a good reason to recycle the proper ones out of the 2 4-port hubs, but anyway, those clips seem to be doing the trick now, so we shall see. Now the problem when it pops out is that it then starts feeding filament but doesn't know to stop, because it doesn't go into the print head, it's just coming out of the pulled tube. So I ended up losing that much filament when I spotted it, so I had to hit pause on the control panel, snip this off, put the tube back in, reattach the clip, hit resume, and off it went again. But I'm just wondering just how much of this it would have kept on feeding if I hadn't spotted it. Would it have emptied the whole reel, or do these things realize after they've fed an excessive amount that something's gone wrong? one of life's questions, and I hope I'll never have to find out the answer. Okay, so after the test print failure last night, because the green tube kept sliding out of the hub, I woke up this morning and I changed 3 of the loose tubes that just weren't staying in place even with the clips, with the collets from the 4-port hub, and they're nice and solid in there now. In fact, they'll probably never come out again, and I've set it going. So the others seem to be staying in place, so I didn't bother changing them, but if any more of these tubes start slipping out, I'll do the same thing with them. But anyway, it's off again to try its 4-color print, and keep my fingers crossed that everything works out. Alright, so with the new collets in place, nothing came out during the print. It completed it. Took a few hours. Amazing the amount of crap generated for these small prints, but of course it doesn't matter how much you print, it's the amount of color changes per layer that generate this. So I could have made a massive version of this that filled the plate, and I'd have still ended up with exactly the same amount of poop in the bin. So this is cooling down now, then I should be able to take it off the bed. Still anchored down. Once it's done, I'm going to take this off and reprint it again, but with the other 4 colors, just to make sure that they don't pull the tubes out. If they do, I'll replace some more of these from the 4 filament hubs if necessary. But yeah, so my first complete color print worked well. Not bad. So move on to other stuff. Thanks. Oh, I'm going to call a wrap on the test print videos. Get these uploaded and posted. So I'm 4 hours into testing the final 4 tubes out of the Ace Pros, and everything stayed in place this time, so it's all looking good. It's interesting, this mess that you get off it, but I'm going to see if I can find something larger and more exciting to print with these little fidget things, but they did their job, and it shows that it all functions perfectly. I find it kind of ironic that my first machine, the Sunny SA Pro, used Bolton tubes, and moving to the Elegos was a relief to have a direct feed and do away with those tubes. And now I've come full circle and got a machine with 9 of the buggers attached. But yeah, so I've got to give Anycubic a thumbs up. It's a good solid machine. I'm getting good results off it. It's working. But I've got to put in a complaint that shouldn't have to make my own hub. You know, you pre-order an 8-color machine months in advance. I'm sure, yeah, you get a discount on it, but you're pre-ordering an 8-color machine. When it arrives, it should print 8 colors out the box. No excuse for it not doing that. Considering somebody designed this thing, uploaded it, and it was available to print, why a large company like Anycubic couldn't have some Chinese company manufacture a shed load of these to be released with the machine? I've got the camera coming from China, and why couldn't that have been in the box with the camera? Yeah, then easy to produce, easy to make, but you shouldn't have to. It should have been in the box, it should have been ready to go. It's not very professional. But that said, I love this thing. It's It's solid, it was easy to set up, and it's doing the job. So now I'm going to spend the next few months putting it through its paces and seeing what interesting things I can come up with. And hopefully I'll be posting them for the rest of you to see. So thanks a lot. Hope I didn't bore you too much with these videos, and have a good day.